Hello everyone, how are you doing? I am Anne and today we are going to make this sparrow with Pitt Graphite Matte Pencils from Faber-Castell. Recently I bought this sketchbook at an art store. Normally I like thicker paper, but the texture appealed to me. It's very smooth paper, but it has little specks and spots and I thought it suited the style of a nice graphite drawing perfectly. I've drawn a few guidelines on the photo reference to help me draw the bird. There are many ways to copy an image. Use the method that works best for you. Today I chose this one. There's no right or wrong. Once you finish the sketch, you can erase the guidelines, but I will no longer bore you with the sketching process. I start by filling in the darker parts of the sparrow. When the dark parts are in place, I can better determine the placement of the other tones and details. Where regular graphite pencils are known for their shine, the Pitt Graphite Matte Pencils are called matte for a reason. The graphite shine of these pencils are reduced to a minimum. This allows you to work darker, but the pencils are a bit more difficult to blend than regular graphite pencils. Most of this drawing I used the 14B pencil, alternating with the 8B. I naturally use very little hand pressure on my pens and pencils, so I was able to produce very light tones even with the 14B. For blending the pencil applications, I use a cotton swab, and for precision erasing, I use the Kohinoor Hardtmuth pencil eraser. This is an eraser that you can sharpen to a fine point, just like a normal pencil. When drawing, I take into account the direction in which the feathers grow on the sparrow. That gives a much more realistic result than if you would draw in a random direction. I have little experience with pencil drawing. I feel like I've been trying out a lot of things lately that are out of my comfort zone. I can't say that this is my first drawing with pencil. Of course I did that as a child. And also in school we learned to sketch with pencil. But it's really been decades since I've worked out the drawing fully with pencil. At one point I panicked a bit. Well, panic. I didn't know if I could make it work or not, and I was thinking about throwing it away. Luckily I didn't. I kept on going and now it's done, I have to say it was very fun to do. The material is quite forgiving and I also finished it in one day. I worked on it for about 6 hours, including the lunch break. It was quite difficult in some parts. You can get really lost in those details, especially with the wing feathers, so I had to look after very closely at the reference photo. I did the part I was sure of first, and then slowly worked my way up to the more detailed parts. You also don't have to get everything right at once. You see me going back to other parts over and over to add extra layers. The texture of the bird is also varying on the different parts of the body. Its back and head is quite hairy, while the feathers of its wings and tail are quite smooth. You have to imitate that in your artwork. It was about here that I took a short lunch break and posted my progress in the YouTube community tab. My mother-in-law said she liked the sparrow so much she wanted the drawing for herself. That's nice, of course, but I felt a certain pressure to perform and I hoped I wouldn't ruin the illustration from here on. But a little pressure is good, it helps you grow as an artist. That same feeling that I would ruin the illustration came back when drawing the tree branch. I put the reference aside here and I wanted to give it my own twist, but I had no idea what I was doing. I kept working on it and adding texture to the wood with my pencil as well as the eraser and the cotton swab until I finally had a relatively believable branch I was happy with. And this is the end result. As I said before, it took me about 6 hours to make, from about 10 AM till 4 PM. I like how the bird turned out and I think I can give it to my mother-in-law with confidence. I don't have fixing spray for the graphite, so it's best to put it in a frame behind glass and not touch it anymore. The sketchbook paper was interesting to work with. You have to be careful with the thin paper so that it doesn't wrinkle, especially when erasing. but it could handle a lot more layers and erasing than I thought, and I think the speckled paper goes very well with the drawing. I definitely want to draw more on this often. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have a nice day, until next time.